Hey everybody, thanks again for joining Tankers Fantasy Football, where we made it to week 9 coming up, and we know there's a lot of bye weeks going on, so we're going to give you some hot scoop on some waiver wire ads that might be a decent play for you, not only this week, but down the road here to save your season.
Yeah, some of these dudes are more of a Band-Aid play for a week or two, but some of these dudes could come, you could be a stash and play and wait and see to later on down the road, maybe they can help you out. Now let's get into the running backs, leading off with probably the waiver wire pickup of the week with Charcandrick West down there in Kansas City. Now Charles just, his season's over. They say he's got to have another surgery on that knee, and Ware's having a concussion, looking highly questionable going into this week, and I think it's all systems go. Charmander, if you can get him on that waiver still.
This is a guy who would be more of that Band-Aid play where it might only be 1, maybe 2 weeks max if Ware comes back. But if you need a Band-Aid play, I don't know if there's a much better play that you can get. This guy's going to get high volume. He's got the potential to get you 15 to 20. Going against Jacksonville's rush D, who we saw what they did last week.
Giving up a huge games to both DeMarco Murray and Derrick Henry in last Thursday's night game. I think Charmander West is the fantasy waiver wire out of the week, and another running back that might help you out because he's playing the San Francisco 49ers, and Sean Payton is kind of hating on Mark Ingram's ass lately. He's hating on his ass. I mean, Tim Hightower had like 11 fantasy points coming into last week, but he went out there and had 100 rushing yards against the Seattle Seahawks, and I mean, he looked like he was trying to earn it out there, and Sean Payton said he earned a role. I think he's worth a look, especially for this game against them San Francisco awful run D.
I mean, San Fran, it literally does not get any worse in terms of rush yards. If this guy gets the hot hand and he finds his way in the end zone, this can be a very solid play for you that can save your week.
Oh, yeah. And this gets a little more dicey. We're not really sure with the Antone Smith and Peyton Barber situation in Tampa for Thursday night, but if you're on the ropes and you have absolutely nothing else, I mean, it's worth to take a shot on one of these two dudes. I think Antone Smith outsnapped him last week 22-3 and outtouched him 5-1 or something like that. But, I mean, Peyton Barber, I think, might be the ad going forward here.
And one guy that might not see incredible value this upcoming week, but a guy you could stash away for maybe looking at in the postseason, is a guy, Paul Perkins, coming off that bye week, looking like he's going to see more of a load, and it's look like Rashad Jennings is going to get a hit to his load here.
Oh, yeah, they say they're going to make some offensive changes coming out of the bye week, and they might be talking about tight end, but they also might be talking about trying to get Paul Perkins a little more active. I know they've been working on his pass pro, but if he can get that down, I don't think there's any reason why they can't play him over these other bums in New York.
He's one of the few backs in that system that actually is showing some explosion to him.
Oh, yeah, another guy might be kind of a wait and see, but he did play half the snaps last week for the Seahawks, and C.J. Prosise. I mean, he's kind of been there passing down back. He went out there and caught 4 for 80 for you and added another like 23 yards on the ground. And if you're hurting in PPR, I mean, this guy could be a very solid ad for you this week.
Let's take a look at some receivers here. This is a guy who is a special teamer and somehow from injuries is finding a way into the offense. He's got a good matchup this week, and that's Russell Shepard here.
Oh, yeah, playing against the Falcons. I think that game's going to be a shootout on Thursday night. I know we don't usually see a lot of points scored on Thursday Night Football, but I think we might see it this week. I mean, Russell Shepard, I don't see how he hasn't earned a role in that offense. And I mean, if you didn't scoop him up last week and he's still available, I think he's totally worth a look this week with the back-to-back touchdowns.
And we told you last week to scoop up a guy in J.J. Nelson, give him a shot against that defense, and he got you 20-plus there.
Oh, they moved him. I think he's up on the depth chart now. He's starting alongside of Larry Fitzgerald and John Brown and those 3 wide receiver sets they like to run. And if you picked him up last week and run him out there like we said, he went out there and dropped the load on the Panthers, and oh my goodness, couldn't be more sexy. I think his outlook is wide receiver 3 moving forward.
He does have a bye week coming up, but still, a guy I think he gets a very high upside going the rest of the season.
Oh, with the bye week, you still might be able to sneak him on the cheap because nobody might be paying attention to him because he is on that bye week, and that could end up being a very sexy play for you down the line. We got another deep sleeper. I mean, he moved up in front of Chris Conley there on the receiving list of the Chiefs, but I mean, Tyreek Hill, I mean, he's kind of more of a Nick Foles guy, but I think he's totally worth a look in these deeper 12 to 14 team PPR leagues. I really do.
And one guy, too, Brian Quick, he's had a decent couple games here. He's going against that Carolina secondary, who is 32nd against receiver fantasy points so far this year.
And we just talked about how the Panthers got slashed at home by a guy like J.J. Nelson. I mean, Brian Quick's a bum and, a bum in himself. But I think if you're looking for a waiver wire shot in the dark and need to feel a flex hole this week, I think Brian Quick might be your boy. I know I'm running him out there in one league.
Let's talk about the Hulkster here
in
in New
Chris
England
Hogan.
here.
If he's somehow still available, people, you got to get up on that Hulkster. He's running wild.
He might be Tom Brady's new favorite white receiver
saying the prayers, eating the vitamins, training. Oh, my goodness. Another guy, had a good week one. Then he came back to life last week, Mohamed Sanu, but he's got a real prime sexy boy matchup against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, who just got absolutely shredded by Amari Cooper, and even Michael Crabtree had a solid game out there last week too.
Yeah, if you've got any guys starting for Tampa or Atlanta this Thursday, I think you got to play him. Very high-scoring game, and two very bad defenses, especially the secondaries. And we'll talk about some Green Bay receivers here. Dudes like Jeff Janis. There's a guy, Geronimo, getting a touchdown. Trevor Davis. I don't know if they're worth a look. But, Jeff Janis out of those three guys might be a guy who can find his way into some, 3 to 4 receiver sets.
Oh, yeah, I think he might be wide receiver 4 this week against the Colts. Especially if Randall Cobb misses more action. This guy's actually
Montgomery, too, if he's out again.
This guy's actually getting separation out there against defenders, and it's been hard-pressed for the Packers receivers to get any separation. If it takes Jeff Janis to do it, I don't see why they shouldn't be running him out there in 3 wide receiver sets. Especially with Randall Cobb and Montgomery on the shelf possibly again. What we got? Moving on to some tight end grabs. Oh, this is the dark forces from the deep, but, if you're hurting and you're hurting heavy, Austin Hooper, Tammy went out last week early. Austin Hooper played 80% of them snaps and caught all 5 of his targets. And if you're looking on the ropes and you're like, oh my fuck, who am I going to start at tight end this week? I think you can throw a dart at Austin Hooper playing Thursday night. People get up on it.
Another guy, Vernon Davis here. This guy's doing it with Jordan Reed in the lineup.
Yeah, he had 13 and 13 back-to-back weeks in PPR. Then Jordan Reed comes back and he drops a 5 for 93. You got your 14 out there. I know Vernon Davis is who he is, but in tight end position is hurting. If they're looking to run Vernon Davis out there and like
two tight end sets going forward here.
Vernon Davis could return easy tight end 2 value, maybe even low end tight end 1 value. He's really good.
He's another guy who is on bye this week, so.
You could probably get him for free.
Really cheap.
You might be able to get him for free. Jordan Reed's back. He's on bye. That spells very cheap or free to me. Another guy just came back from injury, and Eric Ebron. If you're really hurting, this guy did have a decent game out there. I think he went out there and caught 7 balls. The resurrection. If people lost faith and they dropped him, I think you can get out there and swoop this guy up.
All right, getting into some quarterbacks here, and J-Rock, Jay Cutler, somehow the Miracle Man on Monday night taking down Minnesota.
Jay to the ROC, Rockpile in the house, doing some fancy throws. Alshon Jeffrey came to life with his first touchdown out there with the J-Rock at the helm, and he even involved old boy Zach Miller. And I think, Alshon Jeffrey and Zach Miller with the J-Rock, if you could be looking at, if you're hurting in 2 quarterback leagues, J-Rock could be a very decent second quarterback play for the Chicago Bears in your fantasy team. Another deep Josh McCown, another 2 quarterback league guy if you're really hurting, and if you're hurting bad. J-Rock and Josh McCown might just be your boys, and I kind of need him in one of my 2 quarterback leagues because Carson Wentz just hasn't been getting it done, people.
He's another guy who's going to get some weapons back. It looks like Coleman's going to be coming back off the shelf sooner rather than later, so he's going to get another toy to play with. But McCown, he's always been slinging it out there.
Oh, yeah. The Browns aren't stopping anybody on defense. He's going to have to sling. I think you can almost write McCown down if he plays full game to throw for 250 yards. You can almost pencil it in. All right, does that wrap it up for the waivers? I think it is.
All right.
Feeling good. I mean, don't forget to take your dick out for tankers and like, comment, subscribe below. We will answer your who do I start questions. We enjoy it. I do love you. And thanks for tuning in, people.
Follow us on the Twitter. We'll see you next time.